In this video, I'm going to be walking through how to measure the cuts for LVP flooring. And so this has been something that's really tripped me up a lot, and I just wanted to walk through how to measure it. So basically this is a piece. We've got to fill in this gap right here. And so the way these things work is you've got a tongue and groove, and the tongues, this piece right here sits underneath that groove and it kind of locks in place. And you've got the exact same thing happening here at these side joints. And so like when I first started doing this, I kept making this mistake too many times where, you know, you've got your piece where it's oriented in this way where you've got your tongue pointing up here. You also got this tongue pointing up here. So that's how this thing's gonna slot in here. So you just come here and then, you know, you stick it in like this and then you measure that part. And if you cut it, what you're gonna realize is that you cut the wrong section because there's gonna be no tongue right here, even though this piece is the right length. So you're gonna screw yourself over like I've done too many times. So the trick is when you have it like this, so it's oriented the way it's gonna go in, you actually flip it upside down like this. And then these LVP planks require a little space between the wall and where they actually end. You don't want to go like right up against it because these are going to be floating and shifting around a little bit. So the key thing to note here is that basically you're going to take it and your tongue has a little bit of a width to it, which is perfect. So basically you're going to go right up to the wall just like that and then leave a little bit of a gap. And then you see these two guys right there and there. So you want to measure against that outer guy right here. So I take a quick square tool like that, and I'm going to draw a line straight down from there. Okay, so I've got a pretty square cut just like that. Again, that one, not that one, otherwise you're going to end up with too big of a gap. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this and go grab a jigsaw, and we're going to cut that so that when we cut it, the piece that's going to have the tongue and groove, the tongue part, this length right there is going to be the exact same length as that piece. So I'm going to cut this and we'll hit it in place. All right, and to actually cut this piece, again, using my quick square like this, and I've got my little jigsaw, and you can see where that blade's going to come down. So I've already lined this thing up so that basically I'm going to use my other hand. I'm going to hold down this jigsaw, and then by holding that in place, I'm going to get a nice straight cut right across this guy. And that's how we'll end up with our perfect cut for what goes in that little gap. All right, so we've got our piece cut, and it is just the right length to fit very nicely in there. And because this is an end piece, what I like doing is I'm going to first do this joint right here, get it up nice and tight. And I'm going to fold this guy down. And I want to keep this joint as tight as I can in this process. And then what I do is I'm going to use a top hitter. It's just a straight piece I've used, and note how that destroys the groove on the other side. That's okay, that's the reason why. But I'm going to stick it in there. And then I'm going to give this thing a few whacks to push that long groove up into place. And then we'll see how this thing looks. All right, guys, and that's how we look. Since we're keeping that nice, pretty consistent gap here, our casing is going to fill that really nicely. And we're just going to keep on going all the way until we're done with this room.